Hey everybody, my name is Elise Wang and today we're going to do a time-lapse with commentary on how I painted this fish filled with plastic. I did this painting for an art competition. I wanted to do a painting with a message. I enjoy taking part in art contests because it challenges my creativity to try and step everything up. It used to affect me if I won or not. However, as I grew up, I realized that shouldn't be my expectation going into these things, but to change my perspective in a more positive light. I try to do new paintings instead of submitting old ones because then there's nothing to challenge myself with. And so for this, I wanted to do a piece that is a message about the environment. I didn't want to clutter the painting with too much information, so I painted it black with a very minimal texture. I then traced my outline of the image I planned to portray, which is a person in first view digging into a fish only to find pieces of plastic in it. Our action comes back to us in full circle like karma. By using disposable plastics, it damages our environment, harms our animals, and in turn, we unknowingly consume microplastics in the end. We are never safe from plastics. Plastics cannot decompose. This means that plastic that has ever been produced has ended up in the environment and is still present there in one form or another. Unfortunately, plastic is the most flexible and convenient synthetic material available in our daily life, so it's no surprise there is just a buttload out there. It is estimated that 3% of all plastic produced every year ends up in the ocean. Only 9% of plastic is recycled and 12% is incinerated. The remaining 79% ends up in landfills or in the environment, where they will stay forever in one form or another. I prepared different shades of acrylics onto my palette so I can quickly blend the colors together before they dry. I never painted metal with acrylics, but following closely to the reference image, I did my best to blend where needed. A little touch of bright highlights is really what makes the metal pop and make the palette more believable. Microplastics, as the name implies, are tiny plastic particles. Officially, they are defined as plastics less than 5 milliliters, 0.2 inches, in diameter. For the purposes of this painting, the plastic has to be visually bigger to get the message across. The problem with microplastic is that, like plastic items of any size, they do not readily break down into harmless molecules. Plastic can take hundreds or thousands of years to decompose, and in the meantime wreak havoc on the environment. On beaches, microplastics are visible as tiny multicolored plastic bits in sand. In the ocean, microplastic pollution is often consumed by marine animals. Some of this environmental pollution is from littering, but much of it results of storm, water runoff, and winds that carry plastic, both intact objects and microplastic, into our oceans. Single-use plastic items meant to be used just once and then discarded, such as straw, are the primary source of secondary plastics in the environment. Again, I prepared various colors on my palette to quickly blend through the rough colors of the fish as a foundation. Just using a standard brush, I gave the fish strokes to illustrate texture. In fact, a brush I used was just a normal worn-out brush, nothing special. I just added textures such as strokes and dabs to make the fish look a little more real. Giving the fish a silver highlight also adds to the illusion. According to the United Nations, at least 800 species worldwide are affected by marine debris, and as much as 80% of that litter is plastic. It is estimated that up to 13 million metric tons of plastic ends up in the ocean each year, the equivalent of a rubbish or garbage truck load's worth every minute. Fish, seabirds, sea turtles, and marine animals can become entangled in or ingest plastic debris, causing suffocation, starvation, and drowning. Humans are not immune to this threat. While plastics are estimated to take up to hundreds of years to fully decompose, some of them break down much quicker into tiny particles, which in turn end up in the seafood we eat. I thought having the slice of orange inserted in the gills was a nice touch to show that the person is expecting a fine dining experience. Little do they know the ugly truth isn't so tantalizing and can be hard to swallow. It's hard to show what it means to have plastic all over the platter. As plastic breaks down, they become indiscernible and can look like little pieces of nothing. One characteristic about plastic, however, is that they can be very colorful. So I hope by adding these little bits of dull, colorful things around is enough to transfer the message across and can look pretty disgusting. The challenge was to make this painting look appetizing on first look, but you feel you had to do a double take to see the little bits of information to get the big picture of everything else. I feel that's what life is sometimes. It looks good at the surface, but dig a little deeper and you can find all the flaws underneath. According to a study did by Ocean Conservancy, they calculated the yearly intake of microplastic based on a diet of eating half a pound of fish twice per week. For most of the fish species in their studies, average consumption would be less than 1,000 microplastic a year. To which they surmised the levels they found were low relative to other sources of microplastics we may be exposed to. Imagine just how much microplastics are around us in our everyday life. The hands were the most difficult part for me, as I never painted humans, nor am I comfortable painting humans with acrylic. Their skin tone was a mix of grey, brown, and red, and the fact we are hairless, smooth apes was also another difficult part, as I love to play with texture when it comes to my paintings. Though I feel a lot of the responsibility should fall more towards corporate companies and business owners as they have the biggest impact, in the meantime, we can also do our part by bringing around our own containers to pack food, collapsible cups for our beverages, and bags to collect produce and groceries when we're out. Trying to live a zero-waste life as much as possible will help a lot. Thanks for listening to my rants, guys. That's all for today, and thank you so much for watching. And if you like my videos, it would help if you hit that like and subscribe button and share it to your friends who you think might find it useful. I'd like to thank my patrons for supporting me over at Patreon. Thank you for supporting me over the years and really helping me make what I love a possibility. I really appreciate you guys. I share videos, tutorials, and reference photos for free for artists to use. And if you'd like to support me to help make all of this sustainable, you can do so by pledging over at Patreon. You can also join my Discord server where I'm trying to create a wholesome community, and you can also get notifications where I go live on Twitch. All links are down below in the video description, and that's all for today. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!